Okay, so hey guys and welcome back to another Access 72 video. In today's video I'm back with another interview and I'm here with Duane Sinclair. Duane, how are we?
I'm alright, thank you. I'm alright. Just on the move. Thanks for taking time because we were supposed to speak earlier, but I was unable to. Up and down running about and that. But I'm all good. Thanks.
Good to hear, good to hear. No, I appreciate your time, man. Busy guy, respect that. And so am I right in saying from your boxing side of things, you were a light heavyweight who was 10-1.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's been about 4 years or so since my last bout. I think June. Yeah, June will be 4 years.
Wow.
Long time, me.
Okay.
But we're planning to get back out this year, so to get a move on because that ring rust thing hopefully doesn't affect me. But I've been like busy still sparring the likes of Dan Aziz, getting him ready for his big title fights, and obviously helping Josh a lot, Josh Buatsi with his fight coming up. So even though I haven't competed, I've still kind of stayed relatively fit, if that makes sense. So hopefully it will make a huge difference.
Yes.
When we get back out.
Yes, indeed. Now I've been seeing what you've been doing, seemingly going very well. And just to start off the questions, I always like to start off with this question: why did you start boxing?
You know, it was more like a natural progression, to be honest. I was started off in karate. I was about 8 years old. Then progressed to kickboxing. I was probably about 13, 14. And then just stayed in that for a good 7, 8 years. I had a few fights, 15 fights. And then I ended up getting a groin injury. And so, I always had sort of fast hands and I was good with my hands. So I just thought natural progression, left that and went into boxing instead. So I started boxing a little late, so to speak, when you look at the timeline. But because I weren't sort of new to the ring, because the type of kickboxing was doing was in the ring. You know, you get the type where you wear the gi and it's on the mat. The one I was doing was in the ring, so it was I weren't shy of sort of combat sports, and again being in the ring, so it didn't feel like I was starting a completely different sport, even though I realised how much I didn't know about boxing at the time. But it was like a natural progression, to be honest.
No, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, no, I see a lot of fighters start off in the kind of, I suppose, more mixed martial arts business, move on to the professional side of things. And I mean, of course, professional boxing wise, like you said, it's been a little while since you did end up or have been boxing. And so why, if you can remember, why did you turn professional when you did?
You know what, it was again, it's a bit of just wanting to do more in the sport. I think initially I didn't think of turning professional after a point, because what it was, when I got over the injury after being in kickboxing, I wanted to turn pro then. But I've been sort of conscientious all the time, so I thought, you know what, let me go to an amateur gym and tighten up a few things. And so when I started boxing, I didn't feel comfortable. I ended up being an amateur for about six years or so. Okay. Because I realised how much I didn't know about boxing. And so then after being in boxing, then I progressed onto some white collar. And then from there, it was hard to get matched on the white collar because I didn't kind of box like those white collar boxers. So then my trainer at the time, Terry Smith and Mark Gillespie, who's still trains me now, they said, well, if you're just doing it for fun anyway, why don't you, if you want to continue, why don't you go pro? You'd be able to get matched. And that's literally how it started. It wasn't even a real aspiration. It's just loving the sport, so I just wanted to continue it any way that I could.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. And so would you say that's kind of why you have, I mean, even though you haven't been fighting, you have stayed around the sport for as long as you have, because you have that much enjoyment for the sport?
That's it. So, as you say, just staying in and around the sport, helping others, management, training, whatever, and even again, as you say, just even physically helping others with things like sparring and etc. So just literally staying in and around the sport.
Definitely, no, I do like that. I do like that a lot, and we'll speak a bit about your coaching side of things in a moment. But just to kind of stay on your professional side of things, I mean, you had the 10 victories, of course, and so which one would you say you performed your best in?
Um, that's a very, very good question. I would say, well, the one that most I was most happy with is there was about I cannot even remember his name. That's naughty, but where I was kind of tipped. I was told on the lead up, look, he's a tough guy. Don't go for the knockout. Just try and outbox him and get him on points. Then I ended up stopping him in the third round. And then looking at his record, he had even though again a journeyman, but it was almost like a gatekeeper in the sense that the people that he's boxed were people that's gone on to become world champions and whatever. So he knew his way around the ring. And then I was on the lead up. Was told that I know you've got a couple stoppages now, but I don't think you're going to stop this guy. So just look to take it the distance and just look classy because we want to get your titles coming up. And then I ended up stopping him in, I think it was second or third round. Yeah. Okay. I think that was my second to last fight, I think. Can't remember. Yeah.
It's good to look back with fond memories, of course. And so you spoke a bit about possibly wanting to get back in the ring sometime this year. And what is your motivation to be wanting to do this?
Oh, the way you put that question is like it's crazy. It's because, again, I think because I've just stayed in and around the sport and I've stayed active, and I just feel like I still got a lot to give in a sense that my age doesn't match the physical. That makes sense. And I think throughout the COVID and whatever, trying to get matched, and as you know how it was going with things like behind closed doors or whatever, and it was more people that were getting matched that were in title contention or eliminators. So I kind of got brushed out of that equation because I was coming off a loss just before the summer before COVID hit. And then, so it was, literally how it went. I was meant to box in October. Then the person had an injury. I was meant to box. Then it went to the December. Then he weren't ready. So I wanted that particular person because of what he had achieved at that time. Yeah. He weren't ready. Then the COVID hit in the March. And then, then that put everybody up for two years, and then just got lazy. And so then where I weren't near my fight weight, I got lazy. Then when everything started kicking off again and people needed sparring, and I'm getting DMs and I'm getting messages, whatever, or my trainer's calling me, it naturally just, stayed in the gym, got fit, helping out my mates, and also good to test myself or help out others that aren't my friends. And I'm saying, well, I'm actually still doing all right. And the fact that they keep calling me back for sparring, then that shows it's competitive sparring and they're learning from it. So, it's just like, you know what, I've spent all this time building up other people. Let me see if I can actually do it. So the bout that I would have coming out of this respite will let me know whether or not to continue or not. That's what we're really doing. Seeing how this bout goes, whether win or lose, depending on how I perform, is whether I continue or not. If that makes sense.
No, definitely just testing the waters as it seems, and it's good to see that. And like I said, I am a big supporter of your coaching as well, and of course you're doing big things with Joshua Boazzi as well. Of course he's got this big fight coming up. I will be there in attendance. Very much looking forward to this one. And what's your kind of whole thoughts on this fight as it is his first one over with Sky?
It's a good bout. He's been inactive for a while, so it is a good bout to come back to, as the fighter was ready. It's not like somebody. I think we've got about 5 weeks, 6 weeks notice of it from signing with Sky. But good thing the opponent he was getting ready to box Callum Smith, which is world champion in super middleweight. Yeah. He is mandatory for WBC at light heavy, so it's a credible opponent.
Definitely.
And so it's good for him to come back to rather than calling it a warm-up fight. And I know that what I've seen, where I look at social media, follow what people saying to get a gauge of the public, where people don't understand boxing. That's what I've really noticed, that people really don't. So you can't really take on board what the armchair people think, because this is a credible opponent. As I say, Callum Johnson was meant to box him in, and I think Callum hurt his hand. Sorry, Callum Smith was meant to box him in, and I think he hurt his hand. So that guy was ready to fight. So it was a good option. It's not just some person that you're pulling out the hat where it's get ready now, box Josh Buatsi. He has a big purse. He was ready to fight for a mandatory world title. So yeah, it's a good boxer.
Yeah, indeed. I completely agree with that. But what would you say to the people that are maybe looking at his move to Sky and possibly questioning it, and maybe thinking that maybe a fight with Beterbiev or a Yard or a Bivol might be a better option for him?
Yeah, these fights can still happen. This is what, again, the narrative that's been pushed, where they said there were some people talking about he's avoiding certain fights because he's not with Matchroom, and he's avoiding certain fights because he didn't go with Queensbury, and it's ridiculous, because what it is the world rankings. Yep. So once you make yourself mandatory within each of those organisations, stroke governing bodies, whatever you want to call them, you end up boxing each other, regardless of what promotion you're on. So it might go to purse bids, and you might not even box on either of your promotions. Yeah. So it just shows the lack of knowledge what people have, because Josh has been he's been number one WBA for about 2 years, but has never been made mandatory. Yeah. That's because of whatever in the background politics is going on with Bivol fight, Canelo fight this. Like, a lot of people want to make money, which is granted. So you can make yourself mandatory under a different promotion. It's as simple as that.
No, definitely, I completely agree. And well, I mean, this is a big upcoming fight for him, and I mean, if he manages to pass this test, do you think there's only going to be bigger opponents? Possibly a Dan Aziz has been floating about as a possible opponent, and what would you make of if that fight did happen?
Oh, well, that would be a good fight, but hopefully for me it doesn't happen. Hopefully for them even. I hope that if it does happen, they're going to get very well paid for it, because a lot of the three of us grew up in boxing together. Like Josh, I've known him since he was like 14, 15 years old, just turned 30. Dan has probably been about 10 years or so. So the three of us always been working together. So it has to make sense for the both of them, but it would definitely be a very exciting fight because of how they both approach boxing and how well they know each other. So it would be a very exciting fight, rather than one of those fights where you're both tentative and you're both trying to work each other out and it becomes a stalemate. They're both fighters that go for it. So if that did happen, it will be very exciting. But I hope that if it does, it's later on where it's lucrative for both of them.
Indeed. And I mean, you spoke about your kind of relationship with Buatsi. Of course, you said you've known him for a long time now, and so when you are looking to be coaching fighters, how important is it to have that close kind of friendship with them?
I would say it really depends on the boxer. It's good to know the boxer, like what makes them tick, what makes them their style, even their emotions and things like that. But the friendship, what I've seen with other trainers and other relationships, friendship can get in the way of good business. Yep. So I think the joy of it is with Josh is that because we grew in the sport together, our mindsets are very similar, and we know how to discuss, and we're sensible enough to mature enough to discuss, to bat ideas, to come up with a solution and whatever. And also that I was a fighter or am a fighter, obviously not at the same level as Josh. I understand what a fighter goes through, so I understand what I understand to put my thoughts or what I feel almost secondary. I can give advice and kind of help and guidance, but I know that the fighter's the boss. So it's really what he's comfortable with at the same time. And I think he's been comfortable with that he's seen that since he was a kid, that I've always just had his best interests. Before any money was involved, before any and after any money is involved, I've always just had his best interests, because being in and around the sport, I've seen some horror stories and I've seen some wasted stories that could have been a success. So yeah, when I saw him and I knew he's a talent, he just stuck with me and I stuck with him and we just helped each other.
That's great to hear, and I mean, of course, you're a kind of coach / manager now, and so is there any other kind of fighters, professional fighters, that you're looking to be coaching or managing, maybe for the future along?
Well, that's the thing. I definitely in the future. There's nobody we've taken on 100%. So it's kind of helping out existing teams at the moment, because we still got a few things that we need to iron out to make it more official with like you're saying, the management and taking on fighters full time and helping them actually push their career. So at the moment we're just helping other fighters that have their existing teams, and the good thing is we're doing a good enough job that those fighters are asking to join us, asking to sign, and we say, well, we haven't got anything yet, so we just it's just helping those that already trust us, to be honest. Like, so not really getting too involved with new fighters or fighters that are just starting their career, because there's things that need to be set out and laid out in stone to have to do a proper job for them. So at the moment, it's just in and around other people's camp, like I mentioned, helping Dan Aziz a bit, and there's other fighters that may come to spar with us, or just getting around on the circuit, and then we just have some sort of open and honest conversation that will help guide them and help their team. So it's comforting to know that other teams trust my judgment and trust the conversations that I say, and then when I see it happen, it's almost like you get a warm feeling to say, okay, I was right. It's a good job. So at the moment we're just, like you're saying, testing the waters. We haven't got anybody solid at this time.
No, I appreciate the fact that you are seemingly, and like you said, always got the fighter's heart at mind, and always wanting the best for your fighters. And it's kind of interesting to see how the way that things are going with boxing at the moment. I mean, small hall wise, you can look around, there's quite a few other coaches with like promotions or gyms or anything like that, and is them kind of aspirations to maybe get your own promotion or your own gym in the future?
It would be nice probably to say a gym, or even I would say, like, what you've noticed is a few promotions or managers attach themselves to gyms. If I didn't have my own gym, that's probably what I'll do. And with already closely knit with a gym in Croydon Boxing Academy. So which is again was another owned by another friend of Josh, who coincidentally I met him separately. Probably I known him about the same time as Josh, and then it just happened that they were also school friends. So we've all sort of come together, and he's running a gym that's doing quite well in Croydon. So we kind of attach ourselves to that gym, and a few other gyms we closely knit with them. The boxing booth gym in Mersham and Churchill's gym in Vauxhall. So we kind of just being in and around the circuit and amongst gyms that produce good fighters, and a few gyms from Islington Boxing Club. So a few fighters from Islington Boxing Club. Just staying around and people knowing that we care about grassroots boxing.
No, that's great to hear. And so, how important would you say that kind of grassroots boxing is for building up fighters?
I think it is paramount, because the having the foundations correct. It's what I've noticed in and around gyms, people trying to adopt styles like shoulder rolls and cross guards, but you need to have the basics first. So that when you get yourself, if you get yourself in a bit of trouble, or so it's about where it's you need to change styles a bit or whatever during the bout, the basics, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. And if you look at any of the superstars, whatever style they might be known for, you will see that they know when to switch back to your basic guard, your basic stance. They know when to switch it, to change it back up. Like, people associate Mayweather with the pretty sure, but when you look at him, you see that he doesn't constantly do that throughout the bout. he'll change his shape.
Yeah.
So it's people, and that's where the basics will help you control a fight, get yourself out of trouble. So those grassroots, it is very important, very important.
No, indeed. And for yourself, I mean, you're doing great things in the sport already. I mean, you've been a professional boxer, you're now the manager and a coach, and possibly going back to professional boxing. You're doing a bit of everything, really. And so, just for yourself, when you eventually do kind of come to maybe an end of all of this, how would you like to be remembered in boxing?
That's a very good question. I think someone that cares, one of the good guys. You always hear about people being done over, or people that's in it for themselves or whatever. They say good guys finish last, but not if you stand out as being a good guy.
Yeah.
So I think once they show that we are honest, we want you to be yourself, because again that's key. You see a lot of people. You get rumours and the narrative of they're media trained. Want you to be yourself, and we're going to guide the best route for you that works for you. We're not going to try and make you be Josh Boazzi or Dan Aziz or Duane Sinclair. We're going to do what's best for you to make you get the most out of your career and what you think a success is. Some people might just want to get an English or British title, and that's them. So whatever you deem to be successful, that's what we're going to work towards.
That's brilliant. That's great. Okay, well, I'll leave with this final question, which I always like to ask. You've got a little bit of a platform here. Would you like to shout anything out?
Thank you. No, I'll say thanks to you guys for having me on. And just tune in. Keep watch of what we're doing in the management, or even my boxing career on Duane Hotshot Sinclair on any of the social media. So that's Hotshot Sinclair. And make sure you tune in May 6th to watch Joshua Boazzi on his homecoming, although it's in Birmingham.
Yep.
We're calling it a homecoming because he's going back to Sky where he started. And on the 6th of May.
Yes, indeed. Okay.
Tickets also on my in my bio on my Instagram. If you want tickets, in my bio on Hotshot Sinclair, you see the boxer and Boazzi link for tickets for the bouts on May 6th. It's going to be a good show. If you see the undercard as well, you've got Whitaker on there, and it's going to be exciting.
Indeed, nice, a great card overall, and it should be a great night. And thank you very much for this, mate. Maybe I might possibly see you at this Boazzi fight. Like I said, I'll be there. I'll be there as a fan though, so you never know. I might spot you, mate.
Yeah.
Nice one.
That'll be good. Nice. All right, boss. Thank you.
Okay, and so if you are new around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do, like the video, and thank